All right, so it's the WHTM podcast. What happened to music? So we're going to be talking about how do people listen to music, and by that, through what device are they hearing sound coming out
All
of?
right, and you found an article talking about that.
Yeah, it was ADSR, which is a pretty interesting website if you're into sound. Basically, had a survey from, let me just get this correct, conducted by Strategy Analytics. I don't know how this survey was done, but
Data.
yeah, we'll take the data anyway. And that's the problem with data. I mean, you could put it any other way. But basically, the idea of the article is that computer speakers is the most popular way that people listen to music.
And what are some of the other ones?
So like 55% was computer speakers. I'll make sure to put it up in the YouTube thing. Headphones were 41%. Standalone radio was 41%. TV speakers built in was 29%. And I mean, then you're basically going down to home theater system was like 10%.
Yeah.
So one out of every, 10 people.
Are car speakers mentioned at all?
No, I'm assuming I want to say that's standalone radio, but
Okay.
I also feel like that's like a separate thing. Like you're not really going, I'm going to listen to my music in the car. Like
Right.
that just, you're kind of forced to listen to it.
Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, it's either laptop speakers or listening to it in the car.
Yeah.
So how about you?
Um, yeah, laptop speakers. I mean, and theoretically you would think I would be, I'm so into music that I have to listen to it on some sort of audio file.
I think that's the thing, the draw from it too. Working with bands I work with, one of which is in and out of the studio recently. You're always, if you're a musician, you're always like, oh, I gotta hear it. It sounds great in this recording studio. I gotta listen to it on the best stuff. It's gotta be the best it could sound. But then you get something like that where people are not listening to music on the finest quality speakers.
Well, that's, I mean, and the question is, does sound quality
Matter.
really matter?
Yeah.
If I'm willing to listen to it on on computer speakers, does it need to be the most polished product ever?
And like for me, I take great pride in trying to have my music that I make as polished as possible. So it pains me to say I don't think recording qualities matter really right now necessarily. Like obviously it should be listenable. I don't think it like getting those crystal clear waveforms are perfect every single time. I don't think that's as important anymore.
I think it's safe to say that ease of listening 100% trumps sound quality.
Right.
I mean, because that's and I have decent headphones that I could plug into my laptop, or if I really wanted to, I could plug it into the interface here. I don't,
Right.
It is interesting though, because I feel your brain automatically fills in parts for you.
Oh, that is certainly true. Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh well, I'm hearing that part. Like I'll be listening to something. Listen to 93.3. WMMR, which they're rock station.
Yeah.
And on my way to work, they always cut out right at the end, and I'll be listening to the biggest pile of static ever. But if it's a song I like, then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm gonna keep listening to this, even though it's
Yeah.
some guy like being like, and in the news today, But I'll still listen to it because like your brain's just able to
Put it
continue
together. Also interesting because with the recent rise in vinyl sales and people talking about vinyl being a superior sound quality, but then people are not listening to things on superior devices, output devices.
You know what it is? What's interesting is, as a kid, my dad had a home stereo setup, and the turntable was long since retired by the time I started listening to music. But the thing about it, actually, when I was a kid, the way I would listen to most of my music would be good studio headphones, right?
Yeah.
Reading the liner notes and stuff like that. So I could tell you, like, I don't know, every Megadeth guitarist.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, I'm just going to read all these liner notes and have all this stuff memorized. Or it was good studio speakers. But it is interesting how I did that because that was the easiest way for me to listen to music. Oh well, here's the big studio setup. So I guess you could argue with the with vinyl getting more popular and people kind of getting, record cabinets and designated sound setups again for it. It may end up becoming the easier way to listen to your music again because it's set up.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing when you went into the sort of the digital revolution. You're talking about a situation where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get rid of, this sound, get rid of this sound station, and once you get rid of that sound station, it's very difficult to decide, okay, I'm going to somehow build that up again. Your thoughts?
Yeah, times are different now than they were back when we were kids, which is a increasingly long time ago. I think convenience trumps sound quality, and that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, or fortunately, or
it is interesting if you listen to even some of your favorite albums on like a good set of headphones and really good set of headphones. All of a sudden, you'll notice things in there that you never ever noticed before. You're just like, oh, I didn't even realize it was in there. I always think about there was a Rainbow song, "Man on the Silver Mountain."
Okay.
And I remember always hearing that song on the radio, and it wasn't until and you have to understand, obviously, radio, depending on which station you're listening to, the quality is considerably different. And there was like a guitar part underneath that it took me like listening to the CD where I went, oh, wow, that part is very prominent and not nearly as under the mix as I originally thought. I guess let us know the way you listen to music. I think there will be a trend with vinyl, with things going back into this is my home studio setup.
I guess we'll see about that. So leave a comment below, let us know.